let's get into some bowl game predictions. There was a tweet earlier about the three possible more than likely bowl games Florida would be in. Let's go from my least favorite to the favorite I want to be in. My least favorite would be the Gasparilla Bowl. Game is played December 20th. It's a matchup between an SEC team versus an AAC or ACC team. So the matchups that I have written down that would be likely to come out of it, for an AAC team, Memphis just got ranked in top 25 after a huge win. They were 2-score underdogs to Tulane in that game. So that surprised me. I thought Tulane was going to have a decent chance to make the playoff.
Yeah.
But now they're not. So I think that would be this interesting game from just it being a fun game. High-powered offense with Memphis. And then 3 ACC schools I have written down. Duke, 9-3 season for them in year 1 of Manny Diaz. Syracuse, also a 9-3 season in year 1 of Fran Brown. And Louisville, who just went 8-4 in the ACC under Jeff Brom in their second season. Of those matchups, it depends on how you want to look at the bowl game. If you're looking at the bowl game from the fact that you just want to get the easiest opponent, dominate them, and have the most momentum going into next season, I think Duke would be the opponent there.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. Duke, if they don't get 2 pick sixes and like 3 other turnovers, they probably lose to FSU. They don't really have any good wins. Like best one, Virginia Tech, who's a 6-6 team, I think, or 7-5 team. So probably Duke. But you also have to think about the tie-ins and like the order they go in. So I think like a Louisville or Syracuse would maybe be a higher rated bowl game, which we can get into later. But what do you think about the Gasparilla Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, well, the I think the Gasparilla Bowl would kind of suck just because it's the early one. I mean, I think Florida's odds against Memphis. By the way, Clayton, I agree 100%. I do not want to play Syracuse in a bowl game. Number 1 passing offense in America right now. Do not want that smoke. Nope.
Their strength on offense is our weakness. I mean,
yeah,
especially if you have those injuries. Like that's what I was gonna say. Maybe I was gonna say a bit later, but yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah, and also to address Clayton's other comment. So the Gator Bowl, from what I understand, the Gator Bowl has it's SEC and then it's alternating whether the tie-in is Big Ten or ACC. I'm fairly certain this is an ACC.
It is ACC.
Gator Bowl. Yeah. Okay. So that's not a possibility in the Gator Bowl.
Yes, it is ACC. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other one I would also say, I saw someone project Gasparilla against Memphis. I believe it was CBS Sports projected that. I mean, I think you got it. I mean, Memphis is a good team. I mean, they beat Florida State. So they're capable of beating a bad Power 4 team.
By one score though.
Yeah, you're right. It was close. I mean, I think that's a good matchup. I agree on Duke. Duke's a really good team defensively, but that offense it's tough. It's tough to watch. Yeah. So I think you'd like that matchup there. Another one I actually have, because I saw this projected twice, another matchup, Liberty Bowl versus TCU.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to the Liberty Bowl next.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I was on the gas earlier, yeah. Yeah, you're good, because I have that one written down. Liberty Bowl versus a Big 12 opponent. I had 3 Big 12 opponents written down. Baylor, TCU, Kansas State. I think those would be the most likely. Maybe Colorado. I think Colorado might get a higher bowl than Liberty Bowl, though.
I think so, too.
If they did, I mean, Florida versus Colorado would pull probably the best numbers of any bowl game outside of a playoff game. So there is that. The TV dealers, they might want to do that. Go ahead on TCU. You started, so I'll let you finish that one.
I mean, not a ton to say here. I mean, a TCU team that low key pretty good offensively, I think would be I mean, they've had some nice high scoring games. I think not quite as scary as Syracuse, but sort of scary in kind of a similar vein. I'd feel a lot better about playing TCU than playing Syracuse, to be clear.
I'm kind of the opposite of that. I think we would dominate TCU more than we would dominate Duke. If you go back and look at TCU's schedule, lost to UCF, a 4-8 UCF team now.
Yeah.
All their wins. So they're 8-4. I looked at it. I think they have the lowest strength of schedule in the Big 12, which for how bad the Big 12 is, that's impressive. Some of their wins came against West Virginia, who is not that very good of a team.
Just fired a coach today.
They just fired Neil Brown. That's right. Kansas, before Kansas went on that streak of really good wins. They lost to Houston, who was just an abysmally bad team. Lost to Texas Tech. I don't have the rest of their schedule pulled up. But of their 8 wins, I think only one or two of them came against bowl eligible teams.
Didn't they have to like have some really improbable comeback to beat UCF or something like that?
They gave up the comeback against UCF.
Oh, it was the other way around. It was the other way
UCF won that game.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're right.
They were up like 35-14 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think I agree definitely in comparison to the Duke because, like, again, Duke's defense is good. Like, I think the Florida would struggle to score points in that game.
I also TCU so Cincinnati, not a good team. They gave up 28 points to Arizona. They scored 49, and Arizona's even worse than Cincinnati. Oklahoma State, who was one of the favorites early on, but went winless in Big 12 play. They lost to a hot Baylor team. They beat Utah. No QB Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, these wins. They beat Texas Tech. That's actually a decent win. They beat Texas Tech.
Tech is good. Yeah, Tech had a quietly very nice year.
So that was their two best wins were Texas Tech and Kansas before they were even on that.
Back when Jalen Daniels was throwing the ball to the other team 3 times a game.
Yeah. The most interesting matchup would be Baylor. Baylor's on a 6-game win streak. Dave Aranda was in the same position. They were the two coaches most likely to get fired next. And now both of them are going to be returning. And if Baylor can keep their team, because Sawyer Robinson, he might get some NIL deals from some SEC schools, Auburn. So if they keep their team together, they might be the favorites in the Big 12 next year. Kansas State's an interesting one. Avery Johnson just hasn't been as good as people thought.
Yeah.
But if we were to play in the Liberty Bowl, I probably want to face TCU because I think that would be the easiest matchup.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Baylor is scary in a very similar way to Syracuse. I mean, their offense right now with Sawyer Robertson, I think, is like a top 5 offense in the country over the last month or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a stat something along those lines.
So.
They're playing really well right now.
Baylor is a Hail Mary away. I'm not sure the tiebreaker from being in the tiebreaker to make the Big 12 championship.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly.
Colorado. Because there were like 9 teams that still had a chance to play for a Big 12 title going into Saturday. They were they were like they were like 4th or 5th in that hierarchy of teams hoping to get in.
Yeah. So like if they don't give a Hail Mary up, they might make it.
Yeah.
They have a chance at the playoff.
Yeah.
But let's get into the last bowl game we're going to talk about. The one that I want to play in, the Gator Bowl. It's on January 2nd. It's in Jacksonville, obviously. I guess we don't really have a good history of that, or this season didn't go so well on or Everbank Field with all the injuries, especially DJ Lagway. But I think it's the most it's the Gator Bowl. You know, it's with the name the Gators. It's definitely the biggest bowl game that we probably can make. The teams I have written down. So again, Duke, Syracuse, maybe Clemson. I don't know if Clemson's going to be too high for that one. But I mean,
probably will be because they're probably going to be like one of the first teams out of the playoff.
Well, if they lose, they're 20. They're in the AP poll. They're ranked.
Actually, 20. They'd be 9-4, so not necessarily. Yeah.
And then another one I wrote down. Now they're probably going to be too high. A rematch against Miami. I mean,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But like exactly, George said it a minute ago. I would like to play Miami in a bowl game. That would be so nice to get revenge. Because I mean, that Miami team will all be out for that game for drafts probably. So,
I'm not sure Florida gets its revenge in that game, but I'm very curious to see how it plays out this time around. Because again, we've talked about it before, but I don't think Cam Ward is operating with the time he had in that game if he plays this Florida team right now.
No. I don't think he's playing. I think half the Miami team opts out.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point. True. Wasn't even thinking about opt-outs. Yeah. And I mean, we didn't have Lagway, and I mean the Miami. I don't know how Florida couldn't do more against that Miami defense that has, in retrospect, turned out to be like pretty awful.
Yeah, one of the worst defenses in the Power 5 probably. So I would like to play in that game. Again, Duke. They finished high in the conference. Syracuse. I think rankings wise, Louisville would probably be the next highest because, I mean, I think Louisville's actually a good team compared to Syracuse. Syracuse is good. Their offense is good. Mm-hmm. But we've also seen Syracuse lose to 3-9 Stanford. I have the teams written down here. They lost 5 lost Pitt. They threw 6 interceptions in that Pitt game. Pitt lost their last 5 games of the season. And they lost to a 6-loss Boston College team. So we've seen Syracuse struggle offensively. and lose to very mediocre to bad teams. So, and then I also have written, oh, no, that's for a different segment. Okay. But yeah, so like Duke, Miami, Syracuse, Louisville, same as the Gasparilla Bowl. Or Clemson. I could see getting Clemson on if we get the Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl representatives were at the Florida Ole Miss game. Now that could be for Ole Miss, but we could see Ole Miss play maybe like one of the Tennessee Bowl games as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think Gator would be like Gator's probably the peak of where like the high point of where the Gators could go here. I mean, it'd be cool. We haven't played in the Gator Bowl since what 2011 or 2011, the year against Ohio State. So
yep.
I mean, it would be cool to see. I mean, I'm a Jacksonville guy. I'm not sure I'll be able to go to that because I don't think I'll be in town, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that. And I think it'd be fun to see. Like, I want to see Florida play a winnable opponent. Like, I don't want them to get matched up with like a top 20 team very much necessarily. But it would be kind of fun.
I think it's a winnable opponent. A top 20 team.
Yeah, maybe like, well, I mean, you're not going to play a top 15 team probably in a bowl game. But like, I mean, I guess I'm just saying, like, if you were to play, like, I think Clemson would be tough. I'm not saying Florida couldn't beat Clemson. I'm just saying I think that would be a tough matchup.
Yeah, I can see that.